He's flying. Yes, there's history.
Now in front, the crowd roaring, go, Lonro, go, but the 3-year-old's in front, they'll say it, Lonro, he's coming, he's going to get there, yes, Lonro won it. Grabbed by My Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Good to be back, Worm. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Day 2 of the championships, Easter Cup, however you want to see it. And we do have a special guest if you are watching on YouTube. Keno, how are you, Keno?
Going well, Worm. Going well, Matt. Thanks for having me on the podcast, on the show. Looking forward to catching up with you guys and finding a few winners.
Yeah, lovely to have you, mate. If you don't know Keno, he's a avid golf lover, loves it, lives it, breathes it, works it. So he's coming on to preview the US Masters, which will probably be on when this goes live or comes on to any podcast platform. So, yeah, just a little guide, rate Keno's thoughts. So it'll be interesting to see where he lands. And, yeah, we've got a few questions for him. We'll give our thoughts. We'll preview that. Races 5 and 8 from Randwick, race 8 from Sandown, bets around the grounds, multi, pineapple. And we'll, roll on. And, yeah, we'll start with track stats. Wow. I'll start with Randwick. What an absolute interesting day, I'll say, was day 1 of the championships. Beautiful fields, and the weather gods just decided to say hello. I won't give my thoughts on the track and what happened, but we'll move to day 2. Rain predicted 5 to 10 mil Friday, so please keep an eye on it. I think it's going to stay in the heavy track range, so do keep an eye on how they race, especially the first couple, because they might be well off. Remember Nash 12 months ago, right down the outside with Think It Over. Will that happen again? We're going to find out very, very soon. I hope something like that happens because it makes it an even bigger race. So, yeah, watch and act. Rail out 4 meters. They'll definitely be edging off. Sandown Lakeside, rail true. I'll be looking for horses up on speed. It's a gold mine. Rail close, but again, 5 to 10 mil predicted Friday Arvo Friday night. It'll be interesting to see what the track is before the rain hits. If it's bone dry, rain won't do much. But if they've got it around that good 4, I think it's going to be soft 6 or worse, and they'll be edging off. So again, watch the first couple, make your mind up how it's going to play, and then you can have some good bets. What were you guys' thoughts of Randwick day 1, Matty?
Bet early and pulled up stumps midway through. So, yeah, unfortunately, the weather gods, as you mentioned earlier, Worm, didn't play into our favour. So it was a bit of a light day for me up in Sydney on the first day of the championships.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back after the shit show I put on after day 1. I think I went 0 and 5, multi 0 and 3, pineapple stunk. So, yep, good to have you back to take the reins, and I'm staying away.
I may have got a little bit hard on the weekend after Prowse got up 2 weekends ago. So, good to be back.
Keno, your thoughts on day 1 championships?
I hate betting on bog tracks, and Sydney delivered again in their autumn carnival, and really disappointing to see. And you can see why the winners, double priced, double figure odds all day. And I had a little win on I Wish I Win, which I really liked going into the meeting. But quaddies, everything else was no good. So looking forward to day 2. It's going to be another wet track, but we'll find a few winners keen on a couple.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Trial trackers this week, I found one, and I could be a bit crazy here, and this horse might be cooked, but I think after this jump out, this horse might be just somewhere near back to where he was. So that's Sandown Race 7, number 3, Buffalo River. Is the All Warrior back? He might be after this jump out. Have a look at it. He's in the red colours, and it was at Flemington over the 800 metres, and it's just a real turning in a track. So he sat on the outside, and yeah, just the way he moved, I think he might be just found his gears. As I said, wearing the wet red colours, watching on YouTube. I'll pop him up while I'm previewing this. I just think if he brings this jump out on Saturday, he's a genuine chance. Don't think he's met anywhere near this class before. So, yeah, I just think after this jump out of race 7, number 3, Buffalo River, he might be worth a wager at around the $6 mark if he brings that jump out. All right, US Masters. Keno, we'll start off with the topic of the US Masters. Give us your thoughts on Live Golf. Are you a fan of the concept? Is it good for the industry?
Yeah, Worm, one of the best weekends of the year. It's for the punters. It's a bit like the night before Derby Day. We're going into US Masters. It's the best week of the year for the golfing fraternity. Really, really exciting tournament this week with what's happened in the last 9 months with Live Golf. It's certainly split the industry, Worm. We've got, it's great for the global game, I think, around the world. There's been too much focus on golf in America and not enough around the world. So really looking forward to spreading the game globally with the players that they've got on board. There's more eyes on TV. There's more people playing golf. But the thing that I've wanted out of this the whole time is you want to bring the best players together 4 times a year. And at this stage, that's going to happen at the majors. And it's probably why so many people are looking forward to this great Masters that we're seeing in the next 4 days with bringing all the world's best players back together again. We haven't seen it for 6 months, and there's been a lot of talk and toing and froing between your Rory McIlroys and Cameron Smiths and all these different people talking up the game from the PGA Tour's perspective, from Live Tour's perspective. But looking forward to battling it out. There'd be nothing better than seeing 2 from the PGA Tour, 2 from the Live fighting it out on the final round. I think it'd be all-time ratings that we'd probably ever see in the golf industry. And we've got the Live Golf in Adelaide coming up next month, which will be great for Australia and great for the game of golf. So exciting times, and bring on the Masters, mate. Only one more sleep.
Do you reckon anyone from Live Golf will be booed?
It'll be interesting. I don't think so. I think the crowd at the Masters is so respectful of the game of golf. You don't have those yoo-ha idiots from America at different PGA Tour events that yell out certain things on different shots. So I think they're so well respected, the Masters crowd, that I think they'll abide by whoever's winning and whoever's doing well. It will certainly be great. Hopefully, there's a couple of Live people up there on Sunday to fight it out.
Yeah, nice. Live Golf, obviously 2 weeks away from Adelaide. Are you going?
100%, Worm. That wouldn't miss it. Going over with quite a few people from Melbourne, and going over with a person who listens to this podcast weekly, Theory from Adelaide, mate. Going over with him, staying with him, and we'll have a great old time. They're going to have world DJs every night. There's 45,000 tickets sold every day. It's a complete sellout. We don't get this ability of golfers come to our country too often. It's only really for a President's Cup. So to have so many majors winners, so many people inside the top 50 in the world coming to a tournament here, it's going to be party time. It's going to be a new way of golf, all players on the course at once, DJs, music, party central. So, really looking forward to getting over there.
Yeah. Good luck to Theory, partying with you at the golf. He's in for a big couple of days. But I think what you pointed out, all days sold out, 40,000 tickets each day. That's huge. That's a good win for Adelaide and golfing Australia, more importantly.
On the back of the gather round next week as well. So it's a big couple of weeks in Adelaide. They've got all the footy sides coming into Adelaide next week, flows into the Live Golf. So good on Adelaide for taking it on. And all eyes will be on golf for that week, which will be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely well done to Adelaide for actually taking it on, because on tipping there would have been a few people or courses with their hands cuffed. Would I be right?
Absolutely. It'd be a lot of government decisions about hosting certain events if you want to continue to host events. So, it was between Adelaide and Queensland. And you know what? Because it's going to go so well, hopefully they'll have two a year, and there might be one in Queensland and one in Adelaide every year.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be great because, if there's 40,000 each day, that's great support. And, bigger the better. Bring out more, and hopefully one day it comes to Melbourne so we can go. Leading into Live Golf, going into the Masters. Now, they haven't played, I think they've played 2 rounds or 2 tournaments leading in. Am I right?
They are. They had one last week in Orlando. They had also one in January and February, or February and March. Yep. So, really light lead on for the Masters. Going into majors of any kind, you want to be in form, you want to be playing regularly, you want to be performing well, and that's probably my take on the Live golfers. Have they had enough match practice leading into the biggest tournament of the year? I am willing to risk the Live players, Sammy. I'm with the PJ guys. that have been playing in the big sort of World Golf Championship events recently that are in form. That's my thoughts. I'll be willing to risk the live players.
Okay, just quickly, just on the courses that have been playing on, much different to the courses the live golf players have been playing on versus the PGA.
Yeah, it has been. They said that the course they played last week in Orlando was one of the easiest tracks you can play on the East Coast. They did spruce up the greens a little bit, make them a little bit faster, get them a little bit more like Augusta, but nothing like the rolling hills and lies that they're going to be experiencing and the pressure they're going to be experiencing at Augusta. So, yeah, it's hard to get. They've this new tour. They've got to try and find all these courses around the world to host these events, and they've got the restrictions of the PGA Tour saying you can't host events, and so there's only a certain amount of courses that will allow them on. And yeah, you're right, Matty. The courses aren't at the level of what a World Golf Championship or a major championship course would be.
Beautiful. Yeah, go with it, Ken. What's your preview for the Masters?
Righto. So we've got inclement weather this week planned. It's going to be cold and it's going to be wet. They've also lengthened the course at Augusta this year, especially for the people who know their golf. The 13th hole, one of the most famous holes in the world, the par 5 dogleg. They've lengthened that significantly as well. So there's not going to be any short irons or mid irons into that par 5. With the cold weather, the ball's not going to be flying as fast. So you're going to have to be looking for people who are really long off the tee. They bomb the ball off the tee, have a high ball flight. Also at Augusta, the way the design of the course, you want to be looking for players that work the ball from right to left. So for that right golfer, they want to be able to hit draws. For the left golfer, you need to be able to hit fades. It's a proven success that you need people to be able to hit it high, hit it right to left. And you also need to have a phenomenal short game at this place. So rolling hills, the firm, fast greens, you've got to be a great putter. We've seen that in all the previous iterations of this tournament. You need to have those facets in your game to be up there on the leaderboard. And it's unlikely that you're going to see a first timer or someone new to the major scene that's going to take this thing out. It's been proven you need to have performed at major level, have had major success, have had to be under the pump and felt the pressure of, that back nine on Sunday at Augusta. You need to be on your game and hitting consistently flush shots because it tests every facet of your game. And all of that, I've got a clear top pick this week on Scotty Scheffler. He's been in phenomenal form. He hits a really long ball. We were talking about you've got to be great tee to green. You're going to have a great short game in the PGA Tour this year. He's number 1 in strokes gained from tee to green. He's also number 1 in greens of regulation, meaning he's hitting the most fairways. He's hitting the most greens. He's going to give himself the most looks to make those birdies, eagles, and pars. A great putter. He's great under pressure. He's a world number 1. He's the defending champion. He won it last year. He's been in great form. He played really well in the last tournament, the match play. For me, he's a clear pick, and I think his value at $8. I think for top 5, he's $2.40. One thing to keep in mind, when this goes to air, the tournament will have started. Sometimes an edge in this in betting in majors can be betting after the first or second or third round. Scotty Scheffler is playing in the final group in the first round, so he's going to probably have the toughest conditions. He's probably going to, playing in the afternoon, you get the afternoon wind. So he will be out in the morning on the second round on Saturday morning our time. So even if he's, 4, 5, 6 back after the first round, nothing to worry about. He's playing in the morning on the Friday morning, and there can be an edge betting in that after the first round, after the second round, getting in the conditions, getting into the morning. Even if Scotty in third or fourth round, if he's 3, 4 back, he's still in contention. So keep that in mind. You can have a bet following the first, second, third round. Other players I like Jordan Spieth, again, another proven player at the Masters. He won it in 2015. He's on top of that. He's had 5 top 3s. He's found form the last 2 starts, finishing 3rd and 4th. He's got the best short game in the game of golf. So, again, he's proven at Augusta. A little wayward off the tee. He has been struggling with his long game for probably 12 months. But, if he hits it 70, 80% of he can off the tee. He's right in this top 10 at $2.50, $17 for the win. My outsider, I believe Maddie is also a fan of this player. It's Sung Jae Im from Korea. He's at $46. He's my Larry Longshot. He's the best value for the week at Augusta. For the top 20, he's $2. He has played Augusta 3 times. In his debut year 3 years ago, he finished 2nd. Last year, he finished 8th. He's got phenomenal ability. He has got everything there is to shoot low scores. Like, there's nothing stopping him in one of the rounds this week shooting a 62, 63, 64. He does it so often at a lot of tournaments. If he brings his A game for 3 or 4 days, look out. Great each way value. The other person or other bet I'll be having Worm and Maddie's is Jason Day. I think he's finding form at the right time. I'll be backing him to be the leading Australian. He's currently $2.20 in a pretty slim field, slim pickings. I think he's trending in the right direction. He's got a new swing. He's had a lot of back troubles. You know, when Worm have spoken plenty of times about all the injuries and things that Jason can come up with, but he's trending in the right direction. He's had a lot of top 5s, top 10s this year. Loves Augusta. Again, you can probably get from the way I'm talking. I'm backing people who have proven at Augusta, people who continue to deliver there. So Jason Day at $2.20 to take out the other Australians. Cameron Smith, I think he's second favourite, but hasn't been in great form in the 3 live tournaments this year. So willing to risk him. Adam Scott, Min Woo Lee doesn't have the greatest record in America. Adam Scott sort of getting on a little bit. Short game is a bit suspect compared to some of the other players I mentioned. So Jason Day at $2.20, also a good bet for leading Australian. Other players, I'm talking about people who are really long off the tee that you could. I'm not going to talk you out of backing. Cameron Young's a young guy from America who's come on the scene at $31. Absolutely bombs it. Has been in good form. Rory McIlroy. Hits it as good as anyone off the tee, hits it as long as anyone. He's $8. He's going for the career Grand Slam in golf. So can he do it? A lot of pressure. He's got a lot on his shoulders to try and take that out. There would be a lot of people willing him on to do it. There will also be a lot of people willing him to not do it. He's divided a lot of people in the golf industry with his antics in the last 6 months with LIV and the PGA Tour. But another betting edge, Sammy might be around 2 balls and 3 balls, going into the weekend. In the past, I've had success. You can line up a couple of 2 balls or 3 balls. They might be at the Masters they're playing with. This field is so small and it has quite a lot of past champions who are sort of 60-year-olds and over, and you can find some easy 2 and 3 balls there when you're betting against, say, a Bernard Langer or a Lotharbell or Larry Myers and those types of players who are not going to. So there's some little easy multis you can multi up there in the 2 and the 3 balls. But they're my thoughts, and really, really excited for the next 4 mornings.
Yeah. So you wouldn't back Larry Myers at 4,000 to 1?
Wouldn't back him with counterfeit money, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Matty, any questions or thoughts?
One question, just on Scotty. I've done the numbers, and that's how I did my racing as well. And all the fundamentals look absolutely amazing for Scotty, and understand how he's favourite. And as you said, $8 does look value. But last player to go back to back.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Matty. It doesn't happen too often. It doesn't happen in too many majors at all. I just think this guy is so good at the moment. I think he's the clear world number 1. And again, I'm going back to the proven record at Augusta, and I think he's one that he'll be there on the back 9 on Sunday. He'll be in that top 5, and he'll be there.
Yep.
We'll be giving him a cheer, and there's every chance. It's probably, when you say, if I'm ruling out the live golfers, I'm probably ruling out 10 people I'd probably consider chances last year. So that's why I see $8 as being value.
Absolutely. And as I said, all the fundamentals like regulation, fairways in regulation, greens in regulation was just unbelievable. He's outstripped the field by that far. It's not funny. So I'm with you in terms of $8 is definitely value. As you said, Sung Jae Im at 46, I think it's out to now. I think he is unbelievable value. The only one you didn't mention that does to me, have a really good chance and in the market is John Rahm. Forget the last 2 years. Before that, he was exceptional around Augusta. 2 years back, he had an injury. Last year, he had a child born on the eve of Augusta. Didn't get any sleep for the 4 days throughout Augusta. So I'd scrap those two. He's someone that I believe can go long. And also is proven. So I think that's someone that I'd throw into the mix. You mentioned Jason Day. I was thinking him for kind of top 10, but I reckon that bet that you mentioned, the best of the Australians, that is an absolute, that is a bet. Absolutely. I can't see any other Australian going anywhere near Jason Day this weekend.
Wow.
Worm, your thought?
Yeah, Worm, I reckon I'll jump in. I reckon Worm, the years and years a week, talk about golf and catch up. Tony Finau will be somewhere, mate. Every tournament for the last 20 years, Sammy Worm has been. Oh, Tony, what do you think about Tony?
Oh, well, I reckon you've seen my notes. But Jason Day, 100s into 26s. So he's dead set a market mover, and that's only been in the this week. So someone's liking him, and a few other people I'm hearing is liking him too. So you might have convinced me. Scotty Scheffler, you mentioned it, Ken, last group of round one, conditions could be poor. So he might be, for me, a live bet after round one. Just launch then. You're going to probably, if he goes poor or he's, 5 off the pace, he's going to be still $8. But the risk you take, if he shoots 5 under day one, he's $1.80.
You'd be shocked, Worm, at how quickly their odds fluctuate and go out in the golf market just by being 4 back with two to play. Honestly, Scheffler could be $15. Like sometimes in golf, it's better off betting after 2 rounds or 1 round, seeing how they play, see the conditions. So I'm with you there. Yeah,
and that's why I don't really like touching $8 now. That's just my thinking. The 2 I'm going to be with, and it's probably the 2 that are absolute Ken's thoughts here, but I've got to go out wide. Xander Scheffler, is that right? Scheffler? Not the brother of Scotty, that's for sure. Yep, that's him. I just liked it. He started 2023 really well with a couple of top 3 finishes, a couple of top 10 finishes, but dropped away the last couple. Not ideal with a couple of top 30 finishes. But this bloke, 2022, had 2 wins, top 4 top 10 finishes at 29s. If he brings that 2022 form, I think he's going to be thereabouts. I know he missed the cut last year, and it's against what Keno said. You've got to be there, but $29, a little spec. If he's within striking distance round 3, you can easily lay off on him and take the easy collect while you can. And, as you mentioned, Ken, I've got to be with Tony Finau. If I jump off now, I'm going to dead set do my left and right arse. I just love him to bits. He hits a ball long. He's a great golfer, but just can't put it together. 2022, 3 wins, 4 top 5, 2 top 10s. And in 2023, he's just had 4 top 20s and 2 top 10s. So I think he's tracking nicely into it. I think he's saving himself for this. And there was that 1 year where he dislocated his foot or his leg on the practice par 3 tournament. And he was almost leading that day, that week. So if you can do that with a dislocated foot, he's got some talent. And I'm fingers crossed it's got to be this year, surely. Thoughts, Ken?
Xander's got a great record in majors, Worm. I couldn't talk you out of him. And Tony fits what I was talking about. He's one of the biggest bombers in the tour, and he's had a great record recently. He's been playing against inferior fields because of the live people leaving, but he's got confidence now. He's been winning. That was his biggest thing against Tony is could he handle the heat? Could he win under pressure? He's done that a few times now, so I still don't know if he'll get it done in a major, but again, he's someone who could be around that top 10 for sure, top 5.
Beautiful. So recap your bets, Ken.
I'm backing Scotty Scheffler at $18. At $8. I wish he was 18. I'm backing Jordan Spieth at $17. I'm backing Sunjay Im at $46 and Jason Day to be the leading Australian at $2.20.
Matty, your bets?
Yep. On top is the value bet of Sunjay Im. I'll be having something on John Rahm. And, Jason Day, as I mentioned, to be the best of the Aussies. I think that is a really good bet.
Yep. Beautiful. And I'm Xander Scheffler and Tony Finau. Special mention to Jordan Spieth. He lives rent-free in my head after the meltdown he had what was it, 10 years ago, Ken, when Danny Willett won and I was on him at hundreds. So thank you to Jordan Spieth. You live rent-free in my head for that meltdown, and I'll never forget it. That was the year you said Willett couldn't win it, Ken?
It might have been. You're testing my memory there, but it just goes to show that, Spieth led by 3 or 4 going to that hole, had a meltdown. I'm trying to think of someone else. Molinari did it the year Tiger won as well. So, you got to be on your game, and that back 9 comes Sunday, mate. If you're within 5 or 6, you're still a chance.
Yep, I'll never forget it. I was sitting in first aid class watching the golf on my phone and let out an almighty roar when Spieth put his second one in the water because it was game over. Thank you for that. All right, we'll get into the racing. Thanks for that, Keno. Really good insight. And, yeah, I reckon you're going to be really, really close to the money. Again, we'll go races 5, 8, Sydney, race 8, Sandown. We'll kick things off. We'll go the best race of the day, probably the year, some are saying, is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, race 8, 2,000 metres. Speed map for me. And, guys, if you want to, if you disagree in any way or got other thoughts, let me know. I think the big one here is J-Mac. What does he do from barrier 8? I think he rolls forward. I think he's going to sit outside lead. He's going to do what he did in the Cox Plate. He put it in a position. If he goes back, he can't win. I'm very confident he doesn't win if he goes back. So there's not much pace around. You're going to have Unicorn Line lead from the Japan horse. He's going to set a nice solid tempo. Wet ground is his issue. Numeraeum from 3. He's going to push up. There might be a bit of tactics here. He might try and keep Animo as wide as possible as long as he can. Jamie Mott riding, so I don't think he will. He's not really a person to do that. He might just go straight to the fence. I won't go from 4, and El Patroness from 2 will kick up nicely. I got Protagonist 3 wide, no cover. Dubai Honor, I reckon, follows it wherever it goes with a bum to follow. And obviously, Montefilia, Cascadians, they're going to be out the back. But Animo from 8, I think, rolls forward. Any of you guys got any thoughts?
I thought that with Dubai on a draw 9 and J-Mac inside him on 8, whether does he, when he jumps, keep him to his outside. I noticed Dubai on a last start worm. He missed the kick by probably a length. So I thought if he jumps with them, is he going to try and take that spot that you're saying J-Mac might take on Animo? Does he want to try and box seat or sit one outside, one behind the outside? So it'll be interesting tactically, as you say. So it's on the 2 favourites that they're going to be watching wherever they go.
Yeah, I reckon Dubai Honor will just take Animo's right bum and follow it wherever it goes.
Wow.
Sit 3-1 of the trip, maybe. Yep.
Wow. Tommy Marquand on board on the Dubai Honor. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. First 100 metres, that's the most interesting part for me because I think if it rolls forward, Animo, you just never know. Keno, kick things off. You're the guest for the podcast. Your thoughts?
I'm strongly look. These are the best 2 horses in the race. They're clearly the top 2 horses. Animo's a champion. I'm one of his biggest fans, but what this Dubai Honor did last start, I have to be with him. He's had a 4th in a Hong Kong Cup starting at $5. He's run 2nd in a Champion Stakes at Ascot as a 3-year-old and started favourite. His run home times were exceptional last start. They were of an elite animal. He was on a dry track last start. He gets his going that has been crying out for from everyone you hear from his trainer, that he needs a wet track. Wait till he finds a wet track, another leg he will find. So I am strongly in his corner at the $2.50, $2.40 that they're currently betting. I think he's a bet.
Wow, beautiful. Matty, your thoughts?
Before I get into my thoughts, mate, give us your thoughts on Unicorn Line.
Yeah, he was. I was hoping for a good track to see where these horses stack up against. We know they're superior. We know when they come here, they just dominate. So, to a heavy track, I don't know if he handles them. I don't know. His form is so up and down. I can't be anywhere near that form. But why has he come out this way? The trainer wouldn't bring him here for no reason. So. He's so. If you look at his like last prep, 0.00107. Now, it's not ideal. Going 7. 14-year-old. His rating's 110, where Anamo's 120. So he's around the Numerian figure rating. So he's one. If he handles the conditions, I'm interested to see how he goes, because I remember there was a horse that raced against Winks. He's crossed my mind and couldn't handle the heavy, but he came out and ran third against Winks in one of the big Group 1s. So you've got to, I wouldn't be touching him, but if I'm having a quaddie, I might just put him in just in case. I can't let, we know how good they are, these Japanese horses.
All right, just wanted to make sure that it was a line through it outside of quaddies.
Yep.
If it was a firm deck, I think you've got to be throwing him in, Matty, but it's going to be a wet, heavy track, and he's unplaced in 2 runs on wet tracks.
Yep, unproven.
Yep.
No, I think it is definitely going to be a race into. The only other one I will mention is Cascadian coming out of the Australian Cup, which was a sensational ride by Benny Mallum. Good to see him going up against Animo. Hasn't been done in a long time, so I'm glad that we've got that opportunity to see Animo up against Cascadian. Now, Cascadian's going to need a lot of luck to actually beat either Dubai Honour or Animo in this race. Animo, as you said, Worm, I think it sits a little bit closer. I think J-Mac does revisit that Cox plate and go, okay, I do need to be a little bit closer, especially on this heavier track. It's going to be a little bit tougher to make up ground, and Dubai Honour may not be able to make up the ground as quickly as what it did in the previous race. Now, my only question mark in terms of Dubai Honour is the horses are beat. No question mark about the horses are beat. But were they running to the best of their ability on that day? I don't think so. So I don't necessarily know whether that win was as good as what we think it is. I don't know whether Dubai Honour can get to 5-6 lengths better than benchmark when we know Animo can. So Worm, for that reason, I'm going to be sticking with Animo. No surprises if Dubai Honour gets up, but I know Animo can run 5 lengths better than benchmark. I don't know if Dubai Honour has that in the tank.
That's the. I was with Dubai Honour last start. I was happy to be with him at $6. He recorded a figure that is good enough to beat Animo, but the query is now, can you go back to back doing it? The internationals don't really do that. They sort of drop off a little bit, but the hype around this horse is the one I warm to, because you listen to a few better judges and European followers, and they just said if he brings his form, he wins. Now, he did that. He beat Mwanga by 5 lengths. Animo's only beaten him by a length. Now, I know you can't say that because Animo only beats horses by under a length or a length. He never smashes fields. But you got to respect the 5-length victory. Interesting where he lands. He's going to be seed number 1 for me. Cascadian, you brought that up. I reckon you've stolen my notes, Matty, because remember last spring I spoke about Cascadian. Was James Cummings not setting Cascadian for Cox plates and races where Animo was in to protect its stallion career because he thought it was going better? Now, there will be more incentives for Animo to win for James Cummings and the team than Cascadian. Now he comes to him. I think they were running scared from him. They didn't want to do it. Now we see Cascadian put a race together in the All-Star Mile, and he won the Australian Cup. He's going to be left for one little run, as Ben Mallum says. He's got one little turn of foot, and it's sharp. So if he can do that, if he's within striking distance, I think he can win. I think he can put definitely Animo away. Dubai Honour, I don't know. That's the query, what Dubai Honour turns up. The other one at massive odds here, and I think we've got to respect this, and it's flying under the radar with a lot of judges here. Al Patroness, he's definitely a first 4 trifecta horse. Personally, this horse won the Australian Oaks 12 months ago on a heavy 10. Beat Gin Martini, who's a genuine chance for a Sydney Cup. Now, I know that's not the strongest form, but $61, you're probably going to get 81s come race time. It ran a figure on a heavy 10 track that is good enough to beat Animo on his heavies. So at 61s, barrier 2, Huey on board. I think that's just crazy odds. I'm going to be playing Dubai Honor to win in an exacta with Cascadian, Al Patroness to run second. And then I'll reverse it the other way just as a smaller, just in case those two decide to bob their head up. But yeah, good race. Any last thoughts?
I was just thinking then, Worm, that one you've mentioned it at long odds, 2,400, this being a heavy track 2,000 metre race, it's probably going to be like a 22, 23, 2,400 metre race. So is that a question mark on Animo to run a strong 22, 2,300 metres on a heavy track? So
yep.
I can see why you like that one at long odds there. But I'm still firmly with Dubai Honor.
Yeah, good race. Can't wait. It's just going to be, everyone's going to have an opinion, and geez, the market's going to be fantastic. I reckon last 5 minutes is really going to be powerful because people are going to bet. And which way will they not back the favourites and start backing like a Zarek and, those big odds ones and try and, pinch a good price horse? I don't know. I really do not know how this market goes. Any thoughts, anyone?
By race 8, we'll see how the track is playing. If the track is playing anywhere with any type of bias towards the front runners, I think you'll find that these two may drift a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I'd be keeping the cash in your pocket until 15, 20 minutes before this race jumps.
I might have snipped a bit of Al Patroness at 61s before we came on air just to, I just think it's stupid odds. All right, Matty, you want to preview race 5, the Arrowfield 3-year-old sprint?
Yeah, 3-year-old sprint, mate. Interesting race, this one. Now, for the sprint race, not necessarily cracking with speed this race, but we'll get to that in a moment. Have you got the odds there for us?
Yeah, do, mate. Everything's top odds here. Half Cabin, $2, top odds. Zoo Tiger, $5.50. Economics, $11. We Nessie, $11. Coit, $13. Lady Laguna, $17. Swiss Exile, $21. Dashing Legend, $21. And Scared Centano, $51s.
Thank you, mate. Look, Zoo Tiger and Cote, I could definitely talk about those two, but honestly, I can't see either of those two winning this race. Cote drawing the car park has just put a line through it for me. It's probably going to need to take a sit and will be sitting three wide. And Zoo Tiger has been absolutely smashed by Half Cabin previously, which even at the $5 mark doesn't really make it too attractive for me. So the two I want to speak about, first one being Half Cabin. Now, it being back, I wonder what J-Mac's going to be doing with it. Is it going to? It does need to sit closer than what it's done previously. It hasn't been running badly, but definitely hasn't been running up to what we'd expect from Half Cabin, what we saw first up. So look, absolutely a winning chance, and has got most of this field covered. So look, at the $2, I can definitely see how people will be jumping into that. From barrier number 5, it'll probably sit, I'll say, within the top 5. I can't see it sitting any worse than that. Could potentially just jump behind Economics from barrier number 2, unless something like Swiss Exile or Lady Laguna cross both of those two. I can't see it sitting any worse than 4th or 5th within this field. So, look, I think J-Mac will get it into a good spot, and it does depend on which Half Cabin is going to be showing up on the day. Well, the one that I do have on top, though, between the two, Half Cabin at $2, and the one I will be backing is Economics at $9.50 or $10, I think you can get. Now, when this horse hits top 4, it wins races. From barrier number 1, Timmy Clark on board, I expect it to be sitting within that top 4. Not only top 4, I expect it to be sitting either lead or just on the inside of the leader. I think Timmy Clark on the corner, he will need to get it off the rails, as you mentioned earlier in your track stats. But at $10, Worm, I'm quite comfortable to be on Economics over Half Cabin. Your thoughts, mate?
Keno, any thoughts?
I'm singing from the same tree here. I'm a big fan of Half Cabin. I think he's still recovering from that second up run. It's good that he's had a month off. I don't think he's a miler. Glad to see him back at 1,200. He's got the gun jock and J-Mac on board. I can see him winning. He's got a good wet track record. And the only other one I can entertain is the one that Matty likes, Economics. I'm a fan of this horse. It's had a come down to Melbourne, was strong in the Coolmore Stud Stakes. It's won on a wet track, trained by a great trainer in Nisham. So they're the two clear picks for me, and I'm on board with Matty.
Yeah, I'm going to be off cabin. Loved his jump out between runs. It was stylish. As you said, Ken, back to 1200 is a lot better. And I think this is a genuine wet track of this horse. So do I want to take $2? Oh, geez, that's a big ask coming off. Was potentially a grand final in the Randwick Guineas. You know, freshen up, go again. Not too bad. But $2, I don't know. But I've got him clear on top. Matty, you make a wonderful point here about Economics, about being top 4 in running, and he excels when doing it. So Tim Clark on board, I think that's a bigger tick because we know what Timmy Clark does. He puts them in races. And at that price, I think you might have swung me to just have a saver on Economics instead of half cabin.
Yeah, was it half cabin? The heavy 20 we had at Caulfield that day where it blitz the field.
Yeah, that was the day.
How was that win, though? That won by absolute panels, and then it's going to possibly be on a similar, not as bogger track as that, but it's going to be on a heavy track again. So
I'm interested to see how these two will tussle it out. I think both of them will be going around the corner in a very similar position. As long as they both get a clean run, I think it'll be a great run to the finish.
Beautiful. All right, we'll move to race 8, Sandown. The Easter Cup. I'll just bring up the odds. Put me off guard here, Matty. It's good podcasting, isn't it? So the favourites here, while it loads, we have their favourite is White Marlin here. Top odds 320, right you are 420. Luna Flare 950, Fancy Man 12, Sparkle 12, Mancayan 13, Barbrada 15. Horrifying 15, you can have $34 at the rest. And Warrnambool Cup star comes back, Cam Wichita Star at $61.
Just warming up there, mate. He's set for the Warrnambool Cup. He's going for back-to-back. I know a couple of the owners are going out there on Saturday. We'll go out there and cheer him on. But, if get all this rain they're predicting in Melbourne, mate, gets that heavy track. He's unbeaten on a heavy track. You never know, mate. So we'll be there cheering him on.
And his first up run was just like a trial. So you just never know if he can get back to that. All right, speed map. Sparkle, I think, from barrier 2 will kick up and lead. His last 2 victories have been when he's been leading. White Marlin, barrier 11. What do they do? I think there's 2 options, forward or back. I think they roll forward. I don't think a Gay Waterhouse horse ever goes back unless they miss the kick. Barbrada from 3, I think, kicks up and sits nicely in a position. Star Spangled Baby, the big outsider, should be 1,000 to 1. He'll probably sit 3 wide, no cover, and be a pest to a couple of them. Mancayan, right you are, beautiful spots, but right you are, barrier 1. If the insides are off, don't know if that's going to be the right place for this horse. So definitely watching out. If the inside's okay to go, right you are is in a nice spot. But if it's not, it could be just a forget. And Luna Flare, barrier 12, I think the only option they have is go back. With this race, I'm happy to be with White Marlin here. What a first up prep this was in Australia. No one will forget it. Beat Keats on 1,000 Guineas Day, giving it a head start, sat 3 wide, no cover, ran it down late, but still had plenty to give. And then how could you forget Melbourne Cup Day, what it did? Yes, it was a poor field, but that's what you got to do to him, put him away. It was strong. I think he was only playing with him. I think we could have won by more, a lot easier. Thought he was quite nice in the horse. Absolutely pissed in. Love watching that sort of stuff. This horse had 3 jump outs. First 2 were a bit sketchy. I didn't know where he was at, but the most recent one tells me they're ready to go. Went to Flemington over 800, wasn't suited, but was switched on, gave it a good hit out, nice and strong, won the jump out. Typical Gay Waterhouse runner. Love to see what it did. Now, with this horse, I know grand final day is going to be Mornington Cup in a couple of weeks with the golden ticket into the Caulfield Cup and the Andrew Ramsden, which is the other golden ticket into the Melbourne Cup. I know they're going to be the 2 GFs, but look at this field. I think he just puts this field away quite easily, even at 80%. I can't look at some of these horses like Barb Raider struggled to run 1600 at the Valley. Mancayan nowhere near where he is. Horrifying was okay against Munamek. It was poor at Bendigo the other day against Here to Shock. So, yeah, you've got to weigh up. Sparkle, nice wins, but don't know if he's going to be up to White Marlin. So I'm pretty keen to get involved there. Right you are. I've got a few negatives here. I'm not knocking the prep or the horse whatsoever. Barrier 1, I mentioned, going to be a knock for me. And the other disadvantage here, it was scratched from Aussie Cup, the Australian Cup, because of an injury. Now, it wasn't a big injury. It was I think it was a hoof or a cracked hoof. But they wouldn't be running it if they were concerned in any way, but it would have missed work. It would have, it's behind the 8 ball. Great prep, not knocking what it's done, but I don't like that sort of setup. Going into a Mornington Cup is probably its grand final too. It's got to keep going. I know it ran a huge figure. It was massive to be a Group 1 horse, but you can't keep doing that again. And, yeah, I'm just happy to be against him on a potential soft 6 track. Luna Flare, complete no luck in the Aussie Cup. If this horse drew a barrier, I'd probably be with this horse. But I've mapped him 3 wide, near last. And on the lakeside, you can't be doing that. He's going to be giving White Marlin a head start. And as you know, in 2,000 metre plus races, you can't be giving big head starts. Fancy Man got a long way back in Sydney, struggling to keep up for a while. But his last 150, really encouraging, something we can follow moving forward. I think he's got a big race in him. What it is, I don't know. I was hoping they'd go to Brisbane. They'd probably pinch a few good races up there, but maybe a Mornington Cup for this horse as well. But, yeah, keen here, White Marlin. Keno, kick us off.
Yeah, I was just going to say to you, Worm, any concerns there at the $2.80? Is it a bit short in the market since it's come to Australia? It's been running in benchmark races and steps up first up into a Group 3 Easter Cup. Any concerns there?
Yeah, look, on reflection, look, first look, you go, no, I'm not taking that price knowing it's grand finals. But as I said, what's it up against? Like, I think it's only got to do what it did against Keats second up. And that's good enough to beat these. I think Keats is in around these sort of horses. And, yeah, Geordie Childs, Gay Waterhouse combo, absolutely deadly, on pace. He would just kick on that bend. And he's only going to get stronger with, say, 150 to go. He might look vulnerable with 150, but I think he'll definitely find another gear. Matty.
Yeah, mate. I was trying to get a beat as well, and I was looking at horses like Right You Are and Sparkle, and both of them they're stepping up in grade as well. Not proven on wet tracks if we are going to get wet tracks over the weekend. Number of question marks. I couldn't really fault White Marlin within the field. So, Worm, I can see how you've definitely landed on it.
Yeah, it's just a question if you want to take the price, knowing its grand finals are 2 to 4 weeks later down the track. But he might be a bit like incentivized in that Mackay Diva. He's just classes above him. And this horse is undefeated for a reason. WhatsApp, guys. If you want to join the community, I'll put my email down the bottom. Please hit me up or DM one of us on our socials. We'll put you straight through. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Any podcast platform that you listen to, please subscribe to that. Leave us a comment what you think, whatever. Oh, even leave on your comment what you like for the day. Would love more interaction with the people out there. You can't be going any worse than what I did last week. So please share your thoughts. Keno's part of the community, and yeah, he shares his best bets and takes me on a hell of a lot of the time, and is a lot more righter than I am on most occasions.
Mate, you know the best thing about this, even though you didn't have your best weekend last weekend, we had an Ascot specialist who just pulled the group together, pulled the group out of the mud, and everybody finished with a bang. I'm talking 1 ounce for the quad.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Big call out, and he knows who he is.
Yeah, no, it was, I didn't have that bad of a Saturday. We won for the weekend. We won 2 units. Oh, I thought it was a good way to get out, and I just thought, nah, Ra, you've got to come to the table here. You've been very quiet. And he just went bang, 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 bang.
great to see.
Yeah.
Great end of the Saturday it was.
Oh, 100%. And then he went bang early today at Pakenham in the first. He wasn't
Race one.
Yeah, we'll call him the sharpshooter, the Brett the Hitman Hart, the sharpshooter of racing. He goes quiet, MIA for 3 months, and then he'll just pop up when he needs to and just goes bang, bang, bang. But no, it's good. If you want to join, guys, share your thoughts, share your bets. Yeah, come join. It's all free. You're not paying anything to join our community like a lot of people have is communities, and you're paying $15 a month to join it. We're free. We do it for the love of it. We do this podcast for the love of it. So if you want to come and join, talk some absolute sickos of horse racing, please get involved. All right, around the grounds, Kenno, you're our guest. You kick things off. Where are we going?
I'm really keen on one that's Randwick on day 2 of the Championships, Worm, in the Sydney Cup, race 7, number 11, Cleveland.
Yep.
Master trainer Joseph O'Brien. He's got the champion jockey, Kieran McAvoy. He was really, really well thought of for the Melbourne Cup. He didn't come out as a European stayer. Really, really good first up run in the Tancred. He was just humming along nicely through the line, was really, really strong. Drops 8 kilos in weight. Really confident that on a wet track that he is going to find panels, and I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. He's at $4.20. Happy to take him to place for your multi-worm. I think he's around $1.80, $1.85.
Yep, and any more?
Going away from the races, I really like the Melbourne Demons to beat the West Coast Eagles this week at the line. West Coast got about 8 out, 6 key players, but it's pretty much like the D's are going to be playing the Peel Thunder and the Waffle this week. So the line's 51.5. You can get $1.90. I think that's a great bet. The D's are in form. They smashed Sydney last week, and I expect them to do the same to the Peel Thunder Eagles.
Well, we know how that ends after bagging a side. What was the line? Did you say 50?
51.5.
It's currently 44.5.
Oh, even better. I might have another go.
Beautiful. Thoughts on Cleveland here? You've got the Melbourne Cup winner in the race. You've got High Emotion, who ran 3rd in the race. Obviously, they were double the price what they are Saturday in the Melbourne Cup. Duval Legend, they were calling a moral, most people in the Melbourne Cup. Now, do you take much into it that is Cleveland better than those internationals that came out?
I've always had a theory, Worm, in these long-distance staying races, you've got to be down in the weights. I know Gold Trip went against that last year. He's not going as well this campaign. He's got 59 in the Sydney Cup. A heavy track over the 2 miles on with the Cleveland, the up-and-comer, with 51. You know, if it was a weight for age race, you'd be Gold Trip at 8 kilos on that type of distance, that type of track. His run last start, heard great reports about this horse for 12 months. He's been set for Melbourne Cup. So if he's being set for Melbourne Cups, I'd expect him to be pretty hard to beat in the Sydney Cup on the way through to Melbourne Cup later this year.
Yeah, okay. I'll follow you in with Cleveland. I'm going to have something small on High Emotion. He's going to get a long way back. She's going to get a long way back. But if she hits the line like she did in the Melbourne Cup, wow, it's going to run a drum, and around $3. I think that's stupid odds as well. Matty, where are we going for your bets around the grounds?
We'll start off up in Sydney as well. And that race number 2, called Jackie, around about $5. Look, in what is a fairly open and even race, what I'm liking about this is more so how this race is going to pan out. Soft ground, no issues. Barrier number 8, I expect it to be going forward, either sitting outside the leader or leading. Now, early on up there, I want to be near the lead. This horse looks exceptionally well suited. Looks like it's got upside as well. So, Worm, Sydney race 2, called Jackie, around about that $5, I think is going to be a play. We're going to go a bit further north after that, race 5, McTaffy. Now, you do know that I do enjoy McTaffy's work.
Yep.
Haven't backed it for quite a while. Really, really good trial. Great run first up. And I think from gate number 8, decent jockey on board up there as well in Thornton. I'm expecting him to run exceptionally well. At that $10 and $3.20 for a place, you can play this 1x4, and I think it'll be a good bet. McTaffy in race number 5. Worm?
one thing about Call Jackie, it was accepted for the 3-year-old
It
Arrowfield.
was.
So why they've
Yes.
scratched and gone to this, I like to see that. So I like your thinking on those two. I'll follow you in. Just a shout out to the community. We just had a winner in Dapto Dogs. Heath, thank you. He's on fire. We've gone 1 from 1 and there's 1 to go. So bring that one home.
Did I see a home and away star get a bit of a mention there?
Sorry?
Elf Stewart. Elf Stewart got a bit of a call out.
Yeah, probably can't repeat his words that Elf's come into the community with, but thank you.
Elf Stewart beer tonight.
So, yeah, well said, Matty. Oh, you almost got me. I was going to repeat it. But my around the grounds, I'm going to have one Randwick Race 9, number 1, alcohol free. If you don't know much about this horse, this was a $10 million purchase from Yulong. 5-year-old mare. What the fuck are you paying that much for? Jesus, I've never seen something like this. But let's get back to its form. It won the July Cup last year. 3rd was Arturus. We know how well he went first up and how close he got to Animo. So if he can bring that sort of form down here, wowee. But the most recent one this horse had was 3 lengths off Baid, and it was unlucky alcohol-free. Held up, should have finished a lot closer. Don't think it wins, but I think it gets within a length or so. What price are they giving us? $3.50. Unbelievable. It's had a jump out. I've loved it. If he brings that, oh, wow, it should be $1.80. It's obviously got to acclimatise and all that, but it shows all signs that race 9, number 1, alcohol-free is going to be winning for me. Multi, all right. Keno, what are you chucking in?
I am going to go Cleveland the Place Worm, Sydney Cup, race 7, number 11. Cleveland the Place.
Beautiful. $1.85. Matty, what are you chucking in?
We'll be going Cool Jackie in race 2 in Sydney the Place, and also chucking in economics within race 5 for the place as well. Currently paying around about the $3 mark, so add a bit of value with economics the place.
Yep, 210 Cool Jackie, economics 260, and I'm going to throw in White Marlin the place. It's around the $1.50. I'll take the softer option and chuck him in, and that comes to about $15. So that is really good. Matty, everyone's only here for one reason, and it's your pineapple of the week. Where are we going?
Go, Matty.
Mate, this did take a little bit of time because it's definitely not as easy as Parawas a couple of weeks ago. Definitely not as confident, but I am sticking with you, and we are going to be going Sandown in the Easter Cup, White Marlin. Now, as you mentioned, I don't think there's much within this field. The two that I was looking at that could be dangerous was Sparkle and also Right You Are, for obvious reasons, been in very, very good form, but both have question marks on the heavy track or even a soft track, both stepping up in class, similar to what White Marlin is. But I think that this horse, as you mentioned, sitting front and centre on the corner, is going to kick. And I do like with what you're saying across the last 100, 150 metres. I think it's going to go again. And I think it's going to have the rest of the field found wanting. So, mate, for the pineapple, we'll be on White Marlin.
Beautiful. I like it. I like it. You've given me more confidence. I like it. Any last thoughts, Keno?
No, my last thoughts are enjoy the Masters, enjoy your Easter, enjoy the footy, and have a great time with your family and friends. And great job, Worm, and great job, Matty.
Thank you for joining us, Ken. We're going to try and get you on for all the big majors and, talk about them, especially if you smash it out of the park. We might become a paid service very, very quickly. But any last thoughts, Matty?
Oh, mate, to Ken, thank you very much. That is absolutely great insight for the Masters. I can't wait to get up at the crack of dawn, coffee in hand, and watch Augusta. I think it's going to be absolutely thrilling Masters this year. And then we'll be rolling across into Day 2 of the championships. So I cannot wait, mate. So looking forward to this Easter weekend, Worm.
Yeah, 100% well said. I'll add Friday, Good Friday. If you're having a punt, guys, any profits you have, please put it to the Good Friday appeal. They do a fabulous job for all the families, the kids. They work their ass off tirelessly for not much reward. So if you're having a punt at Geelong, whatever profit you have, if you're having a same game multi, put all profits to your Good Friday appeal, because they deserve it more than us. And more importantly, just gamble responsibly, but give everything you can to the Good Friday appeal.
Well said, Wayne.
So, yeah, thank you for joining. We'll be back for, let's call it day 3 of the championships and more off-peak racing. And, yeah, we'll be back next Thursday. Thank you all for listening, watching. Subscribe, like, Keno, Matty, thank you again. And we'll sign off with our number 1 supporter.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.